for the development of our beloved country. With this being an election year, the theme political consciousness, the key requirement for national development, appears more crucial than ever. It resonates deeply with the challenges and opportunities we face as people, while also emphasizing the importance of being aware, informed, and actively engaged in the political landscape of this country. As a people, our political state of mind and our personal awareness of politics and the political and geopolitical context has a lot of impact on ourselves and the society at large. This means that our actions must be guided by commitment towards justice, human rights, along with identifying and understanding the prevalent inequity in power and in politics and in economic and social systems of our country, and the imbalances that we need to correct. As citizens, we should inculcate in each and every one of us a sense of duty towards our community and contribute to this good cause. Furthermore, we must endeavor to stand up against injustice, as I said, and also all such systems and structures within our society by promoting togetherness and harmony amongst ourselves. It is our duty to harness our collective consciousness and knowledge to contribute meaningfully to the development of our people. We all possess unique perspectives that can help shape policies and initiatives that promote inclusiveness, social justice, and sustainable development. The Rastafarian way, like all other cultures, is rooted in principles of unity, love, and respect for all, provides a solid foundation for us to advocate for positive change in our lives. By embracing our political consciousness, we can influence decision-making processes, advocate for our rights, and ensure that our voices are heard at all levels of government. Let me conclude by commending the Rastafarian Council for being a driving force in advocating for the rights and recognition of Rastafari nations and organizations. I'm truly honored to be in your midst today and to have the opportunity to deliver this solidarity message on behalf of my ministry. Let me seize this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the principles of Rastafari in promoting unity, love, respect for each other, and a more just and equitable society that we will be proud of in Ghana. Once again, I thank you for this invitation, and I look forward to working with you on a more friendly and more relaxed atmosphere. When I apologize, because I love Rastafarianism, I love everything about it. But I know there will be an opportunity, and we'll be together again. Once again, thank you very much. I wouldn't go. I didn't come empty-handed. I came with some donations for the conference. I know there's a few things you guys are will do later on. So I don't know how much, but 5,000 Ghana from my own pocket.
So please, let's do a quick group picture with the minister for the record.
Join us. Please join us. Some of the women, we beg of the empresses to join us. We need the empresses close to the minister. Yes. But then, yes, please. Ringo, allow the empresses to come close to you. Yes. Yes, Empress Marina. Hey, Ringo, yes, make way for our women's commission. Please make way for our women's commission. Ja. Honorable Asamoah Wati, Nyame nhyira wo. Rastafari nhyira wo. Honorable Yedase. So what tie chie wa ho den. Please, we will invite African Star to give us a musical interlude whilst I and I see the minister off. We invite musical interlude from African Star.
Audio. Rastafari. I greet you, my family, with love. It's going to be a brief conversation, but I wanted to take the opportunity immediately after what I would describe as a disruptive energy in the flow of what a conference would be, to say just a couple of things to us. Our theme is political consciousness as a key to national development. More importantly, the question becomes, what is political consciousness? And it speaks to a value system. How valuable you deem yourself within a system, and how you apply yourself within that system toward whatever development, if it's national development, personal development, etc. Now, the energy that just happened, whatever just happened, brought me back to the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, where Rastafari is viewed as a peripheral reality, something on the side. You just deal with that and run and move. And you can usurp order and protocols just because you are sitting in a space of governance or your office is so important. My office, I&I office, is of more importance to I, at least. Yes? It should be of importance to the I. I'm traveling for thousands of miles to get here. Right? To speak, yes, I was in Ghana, but I'm saying if you look at the overall reality, our value is higher than what we have sold ourselves for, or we're bartering ourselves for. Yes? And it's not a rebuke, by the way, my family. I'm not seeking to do that. I'm seeking to position our thinking about 2024 and beyond. Rastafari is the emperor, Haile Selassie I. We take the titles of the emperor. We say we embody the emperor. No, it's not a rebuke. It's even on myself. What I did in terms of protocol was to call my honorable president this morning to say the time I'm going to get here based on the program. And I was still a little late. But I expected that because of the energy we have and because of the organization you represent, we'd all be here at 10 o'clock or start at least by 11 so that by the time I got here, we have a nice body of ones here and already have begun. We cannot operate on what we call black people time, colored people time, Caribbean people time, African people time. Time is important in the political development of all of what we aspire for. So we no longer play with that. And I start with the minister because he came in a rush about time. And we don't know his schedule. A lot of things can be happening. But order is important. Protocol is important. And yes, we're flexible enough to adapt and change based on circumstances. So I'll give that to our organization. So it's not an attack. It's an observation that because we're now family, we must be able to talk about it in honesty. And the president that we have here, I will sit and talk. I've known Daddy Basco for almost 2 decades now. So I know his level of receptiveness, his humility, also his vision. Yes? And his purpose, the mission. So when I speak, I'm not speaking in terms of rebuke. I'm saying let us recognize what our consciousness, political consciousness represent. How I and I is valued in the society and how I and I bring value to ourselves. If we tolerate the lowest of the ebb in value, that's who we are. And yet we say we're the children of the emperor. And I guarantee, and this is just an observation, but the responses for tonight at 8 o'clock and beyond will be much larger than what we have here. It's not a problem. Perhaps as a chance, I and I are the chosen few. So it's good. If I and I are the ones who ought to make the planning for the rest of the family, it's good. But let us also think about whether or not the marketing aspect of our skills are applicably utilized, are appropriately utilized in making sure that we bring the bodies of our youth and our community together for important discussions such as this. I tell you, I have at least 5 things on my program for today, including things that I flew in for, that I delayed, asked that they hold off until we get this done. So the notion of being important and have time and you need to go these places, we overstand it, but we're still making the time to come and reason with the family, my lords and empresses. Yes? I love Rastafari. And by virtue of that, I love the children of Rastafari. But if we're going to develop ourselves within the context of the Rastafari nation and then within the context of the larger African spaces that we occupy, we start adding value, knowing our value, and applying that value in all things. So at some point we can say, no thanks. No, that's not how we'll program or function. And then people start saying, we can say no to others too. We can say, if you cannot be here on time and follow these protocols, then it's okay. We can develop ourselves, our ethos, our brand at the highest level so that when people come among us, they respect the brand because it is within the protocol of the highest levels. That's why we say Rastafari, I, and not Haile Selassie. We say that too, but not Haile Selassie the first. Because we are elevating our language and ourselves to the highest. Let us represent that as children and followers of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Otherwise, in 2041 or 2044 or in the next 200 years, we might still be in the same place trying to etch out something. And I'm just going to make this a sum total because of my own energy. Let me look at the positive, because that's what we always start with. We have done well, family. We're doing well. The question is it good enough? We have escalated from the traumas of the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Africa is on a trajectory that cannot be stopped. Rastafari is part of that momentum. But let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something because it bothers me. It bothers me, so I'm going to just hit it on the nail. All right? We come inside our spaces of reverence. That when we're meeting is reverence, and I respect you, and you ought to respect I. Yes? Act appropriately as if the emperor came among I and I, no man. Dress appropriately as if the emperor come among I and I, no man. Woman. Represent yourself appropriately, no man. Because that's what we are about. Yes? If you burn herb or you burn cigarette, leave that until you're done, no man. Leave it aside until you finish the protocols of governance, which is I and I is a part of. Protocol. Yes? The ancients of the Nile being the order. Yes? King Emmanuel VII. And all our elders and leaders when it comes down to appropriation of time and value, including the prophet God, God-man, they represented order in the spaces of reverence. In a meeting, yes, you might have a party after, but when you come together to represent Rastafari in the 21st century, leave the 1960s, 70s, and 80s alone. Where man used to dress in shambles and in a t-shirt or what them call. Anyway, I digress. Family, I love you. But our development will be undermined. Our development and progress will be stagnated, if this is our approach to the development of our nation and the people who we ought to show the example to, the people looking on to say, well, a Rastafari that, they're not going to be impressed. So remember, Ras is head or leader. Tafari means one to be revered or respected. So if you're leading within a respectable manner, represent it, otherwise the people will not follow Rastafari. Because you are now the representation of Rastafari. I'm not waiting for Haile Selassie the first to come again. I am he. Eli Selassie Jah.
Rastafari. Haile Mosai Selassie Jah. Yes, we give thanks for the word power sound coming from our keynote speaker. Indeed, he needed to touch on this because he will be speaking much about our developments as a people if we are politically conscious. So some of us should appreciate why he's coming from, where he's coming from at this point in time. Without saying much, I'll invite the president of the Rastafari Council of Ghana. He's also the chairman for the Rastafari Continental Council. Many of us know him as Daddy Bosco, but we call him Ras Ahuma Bosco Okanse. He's known in the country as a media personality. He's very popular for his work with most radio stations, including Adom FM and now Ahoto FM. My lords and empresses, with a round of applause, let's welcome Ras Bosco, aka Daddy Bosco, to give us the chairman's opening remarks. Ja.
Virgin and sistering, give thanks. And today is one of the saddest days of my life. You know why? This is a day that a minister of state, having heard so much about Rastafari, like he said, when he was in London, he was working with Rastaman. So he knows Rastafari. And he decides, if a Rastafari council is inviting me, let me represent. The rest of the thing that Dr. Wayne said in Patois, I don't go say, but I'm sure we all heard it. A word to the wise is enough. Rastafari has come a long way, and we need to up our game. Earlier this morning, I was talking to my daughter. What time will you come to conference? And she tells me, oh, I'll come at 8 for the show. So one of the lessons we've learned going forward would be how to consolidate our audience. On that note, I crave your indulgence so I can sit down and read some small thoughts that I've put together to share. Ja. Nimen kenamen mianyamanye. Our special guest of honor, the Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, who left. And this year is 2024. So politicians don't give chance to small opportunities. Like he said, this weekend is a big weekend. He's got funerals and things. And so we're not surprised that he chose to be with us and share a few thoughts. We really appreciate it. And as he indicated, he looks forward to working with I beyond this brief interaction. The Executive Director of the National Commission on Culture, Nana Owo Otuahene Achampong, Nana. And Nana happens to be the chair of the Ghana Culture Forum, of which I'm the vice chair, so Nana is my boss. Nana the auditata, maybe I'm Medina Chiako, no, I'm my boss. Thank you. And our General Secretary of the Ghana Culture Forum is here. We'll be hearing from her shortly. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Wayne Rose, a distinguished lecturer in African and African American history. We'll be hearing his thoughts on the keynote address pretty shortly. I had a conversation with him, and I'm actually looking forward with excitement to the thoughts he will share. Our guest speaker, Right Honorable Kailash K. Lyons, a herbal physician and entrepreneur. He'll be talking to us about wellness. Distinguished guests, brethren and sisterin, members of the media, once again I bring you greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, Lords of Lords, conquering Lion of tribe of Judah, Christ in his kingly character. I bring you greetings in the name of Empress Menen I, Selassie I. Ja! Princes and princesses shall come out of Ghana. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands. For those of you who may not know about the council, the Rastafari Council of Ghana is a representative body of Rastafari mansions and organizations in Ghana and has been in operation since 2009. The National Rastafari Conference began in 2015 and serves as a forum for us to reason about issues of relevance to Rastafari and how we can contribute to national development. Indeed, it's an honor and a great privilege for me to welcome you to the 9th National Rastafari Conference. This year's theme is political consciousness, a key requirement for national development. And I'm sure we're all looking forward to the insights our keynote speaker, Dr. Wayne Rose, will share with us. Considering his wealth of experience, both as an academic and as an elder Rastaman, with decades of insight into Rastafari, having observed firsthand numerous developments within the Rastafari movement and the Pan-African family. In addition to Dr. Wayne Rose, we will also hear from our guest speaker, the Right Honorable Kailash K. Lyons, a herbal physician and an entrepreneur with various business interests ranging from wellness to restaurants, from his base in St. Lucia. Some previous keynote speakers at conference have been Professor Horace Campbell, Kwame Nkrumah Chair at the Institute of African Affairs, University of Ghana, Legon, Nana Kobna Nketia VI, Omanhini of Esikado Traditional Area, Aswad Nana Inkrabia, a Rastafari cultural activist, Empress Marina Blake Exqua, a US-based immigration lawyer, Professor Di Valera Bochwe of the History Department of the University of Cape Coast, and Rabbi Kohen Halevi, Executive Director of the Panafest Foundation. At this point in time, I humbly request that we observe a minute's silence for our keynote speaker at the 8th National Rastafari Conference last year in Sunyani, who spoke on the theme, the role of agriculture in sustainable development. The late Deputy Director of the Ghana Permaculture Institute in Techiman, Mr. Charles Katare. And as you come in, you see the banner for the 8th conference, and his picture is there. We also can add Ambassador Lennox Francis Franklin, aka Kwame Mwalimu Frank I Tafari, Ambassador of Antigua and Barbuda to Ethiopia, who was installed by the Gan, Sowutuo Manche, as Ni Aye Usabu Impese I. He was our keynote speaker at the 5th National Rastafari Conference in Pando in the Volta region. May their souls rest in perfect peace. The significance of holding our annual conferences on the 2nd of March is to commemorate the victory of Ethiopian forces under Emperor Menelik I. Oh, my Lord reminded me that I skipped the minute silence, so let's take a minute for them. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Like I said, the significance of holding conference on March 2nd is to commemorate the victory of Ethiopian forces under Emperor Menelik I on March 1, 1896 over the imperialist Italians. To this day, the day is marked by Rastafari and Pan-Africans globally to remind us of the heroic deeds of our forebears. The day is significant in various respects. One, as a symbol of African resistance. Two, as preservation of Ethiopian independence. Three, as an inspiration for Pan-Africanism. The victory at Adowa inspired Pan-African movements and leaders across the continent and demonstrated the possibility of African unity and resistance against colonial oppression, fueling the aspirations of liberation and self-determination among people of African descent. And like Royal Kofi Asante said, the day is celebrated globally within the world of Rastafari. And he mentioned the EAIBC, Bobo Shanti, that was founded on 1st March in 1958. And for those of you who know Tau of South Africa, they founded the RUF on 1st March. It also has made a big impact on the African diaspora, and it's given the legacy of empowerment. Following the 8th National Rastafari Conference in Sunyani, Council has engaged in advocacy and welfare activities, amongst others. Our advocacy continues for the rights of Rastafari adults and children to be free to go to work or school wearing their dreadlocks, which is a symbol of their faith. Another area of advocacy is in the area of cannabis decriminalization and the issuance of licenses to our community to enable us partake in the green gold economy. In the area of welfare, we've tried to uphold the exhortation that the hungry be fed, sick nourished, aged protected, and infants cared for. And here, the Women's Commission, under the tireless leadership of Empress Mawena Safi Najer, is doing a tremendous job, and I request the House to give Empress Safi a round of applause. Agriculture and trade are our next areas of venture, and we're keenly observing some of the programs the state is running, such as the Planting for Food and Jobs program, to see how we can engage so that our brethren and sisters who are into agriculture can also contribute to the success of the program and ultimately the benefit of the nation. The potential for trade between Ghana and the diaspora is immense, and Council is proud to announce that in collaboration with the Caribbean Rastafari Organization, CRO, and others, we're shipping a variety of items ranging from artifacts to clothes, sherbet, and black soap to Barbados for onward distribution all over the Caribbean. We're strongly inclined that this will blossom into a meaningful economic venture that will be mutually beneficial. I also like to say a shout out to His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And you know why? After bringing the year of return, he is brought beyond the return, and he is continuing the tradition started by John Mahama of giving citizenship to members of the diaspora. The last time they did it, they gave over 100, close on 200. And what we're looking at is that Parliament should legislate a right to return act. And this act of Parliament should grant an automatic 2-year visa to diasporans who come to Ghana as a first step for them acquiring citizenship. And I think this is a very crucial thing Ghana has to consider. You know why? As we speak, Kenya and Rwanda appreciate the impact of the year of the return and beyond the return. So if you check, Kenya is waived a lot of visa requirements. Rwanda is doing same, and they are positioning themselves to attract the brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Ghana therefore has to consolidate its position as the Mecca of Pan-Africans by such an act, which will indicate our commitment to the integration of our diasporans into our communities, something that is their inalienable right. Now let me say a few words about the theme for today, political consciousness, a key requirement for national development. And someone will ask, why political consciousness? If you Google political consciousness, you see that they say it refers to an individual or a community's awareness, understanding, and engagement with political issues, processes, and structures. It involves being informed about political systems, policies, and ideologies, as well as recognizing one's own rights, interests, and responsibilities within the political sphere. His Majesty says education develops the intellect, and the intellect distinguishes man from other creatures. So political consciousness has many dimensions, and it is necessary if I and I as Rastafari is to play our role in the development of Africa. First thing that such a consciousness gives you is awareness of political issues, understanding of political systems, critical thinking and analysis, political participation, social consciousness, empowerment, and agency. In my view, therefore, political consciousness is essential for fostering or developing informed community, promoting effective governance, and advancing social justice and equity. I also believe it empowers individuals and communities to actively contribute to the political process. And at this point, let me quickly add that I'm looking forward to hearing the thoughts of our keynote speaker and the House on these matters. Another question you can ask is there a link between political consciousness and development? Because our theme says political consciousness, a key requirement for national development. And I believe the answer is yes, and the linkages are many. One, informed decision making. When people are aware of political issues and processes, they can actively participate in the process, and they will not be subject to things like vote buying, because they're well informed and they will take good decisions. It also allows for accountability and transparency, so you can monitor and check whether what should be done is being done. Political consciousness also drives advocacy and reform. These are my views, and you don't need to share them. It is to ignite a conversation. And I also believe it promotes social cohesion and participation. The last two things I believe political consciousness does in regards to development is policy implementation and effectiveness, and then long-term planning and vision. So, political consciousness, I believe, is crucial for generating accountable governance, promoting citizen participation, driving policy reform, and ensuring inclusive and sustainable development. At this point, I'd like to refer to the words of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie Jah. He says, lasting progress can only be built on deep and enduring foundations. When a solid foundation is laid, if the mason is able and his materials good, a strong house can be built. To develop oneself, one has to develop one's own initiative and perseverance. A man has to strive in order to grow. Let us therefore work out our own programs in all fields: political, social, economic, and military. Many contributions which live to influence the life and progress of posterity are amongst the most important monuments that can ever be created. We must become increasingly willing to analyze our efforts, to experiment. These are the words of His Imperial Majesty that I'm bringing forth to buttress my arguments. We must become increasingly willing to analyze our efforts, to experiment, to admit our failures, just as we take pride in our successes. And my question is, where does Rastafari sit in all this? That's the essence of today. And I believe that Dr. Wayne Rose's presentation will have further insights into this whole issue to enable us better navigate our collective political future. Later on in conference today, we'll have breakout sessions, and there are multiple questions that we'll have to consider. Some will rise from the presentations by Dr. Wayne Rose and Right Honorable Kailesh. I'd like us to also consider empowering our communities. How best can we do that? How best can we effect social change? How can we generate real grassroots initiatives and promote political awareness and participation, both locally and internationally. And finally, sustainable development projects to enable us build a better future together, both at home and abroad. Indeed, these are some of my expectations for today. As I wind up, let me remind you of an old African proverb which says, until the lion learns to ride, every story will glorify the hunter. So today, I will celebrate some of our kith and kin. We'll present certificates of appreciation to some of our veterans and youth who have been doing this very, I'm looking for the word. Is sacrificial big enough? Time again, I've told Moses, Charlie, I want to sit in my house and enjoy my grandchildren. I have to drag my grandchildren here today. It's a very thankless job. The only consolation I have is that we're doing it for the love of our people, and that is our calling. So I think it's proper we recognize these brethren. The awardees are Elder Michael Blake, aka Jabi. Oh, I beg, the awardees, they are 14. So let me say all the 14, then we give them a thunderous round of applause. And then after the presentations, our guest of honor, Nana Otu Uwahini Achampong, who is the executive director of the Center for National Culture, will present the certificates. So let me just do the roll call. Elder Michael Blake, aka Jabi, Empress Marina Blake. It's a loving family couple. They're very supportive of the activities of council. Our very own Empress Mawena Safi Naje, Elder Abednego Obeng Karikari, aka Ancient, Elder Nash Laye. I promised Uncle Nash that he will get his certificate from the minister, but the minister, like Rash Dr. Ways, the minister mash up our protocol. But like Doctor said, we still know when to be flexible while we maintain a steadfast focus. Elder Joak Boating, aka Little Joe. And me and Little Joe, we came from Lagos in 1983, and we've known each other since then. Elder Kexdan Pongo. I see President Kex in the building. And then Bongo Edward Kweku Amwa of Befikro. Oh, Jaedi, Walandi. Jaedi Landia, and I'm born in Ahua. And then Ni Ayite Okai, aka Black Santino. All these persons are being recognized for contributions in specific areas. Santino was celebrating him for his role in developing Rastafari in Ghana, particularly using media. And some of us remember in 1996-97, the whole city used to wake up to the music of Black Santino on Monday and Saturday. Benjamin Ni Adote Anege Akwe, aka Kojo Kombolo. Royal Kofi Asante, aka Royal Moses. Dennis Afram, aka Osajifo. And Elom Kojo Bini. Elom Bini is a blogger who has been very, very supportive of the council. Anything we do, he is the first to blog it. You send it to him and he's done it. And Bini has never asked me for a dime. I mean, I have people in media who, I don't go call names, but it's also only Momu. You send something, the things have no appear he wants his token. You know, and they will haunt you till you give the token. Bini has never done that with me before, and he's never done that with the Rastafari Council. So we figure that it's appropriate that as we're recognizing people who have supported the council, we add him to it. And last but not the least is myself. I said I don't want to be like one of my uncles who was a president who gave awards and gave himself. I didn't call any names. Then the youth said no. Then the final straw that made me agree to take the certificate is Jabi said, if I don't take certificate, then he too will not go take certificate. And I'm like, no. So my name is there on the list. Finally, I urge us all to embrace our responsibilities in moving forward with purpose. I'd also like to thank you all for your kind attention, and I urge Rastafari in Ghana and globally to unite, educate, and empower ourselves for a brighter future. His Imperial Majesty says we should take advantage of the benefits of civilization. And I therefore urge Rastafari to study such tools like artificial intelligence, AI. Right now, AI is changing the world tremendously. I write like how many letters and press releases a day and speeches and things. And since I discovered how you could leverage AI, it's helped me a lot more. And so I'm encouraging everybody here. I believe that proper use of these tools will be to our advantage. Africa is on the threshold of a new era, and technology is one of the tools at our disposal to leapfrog into the future I desire. Let me wish us all a fruitful and inspiring conference experience, and I look forward to the impact of our collective efforts on national development. May Jah bless our homeland and make us great and strong. Jah!
Jah. I think the president deserves another round of applause. I'll hereby invite Empress Mawena Safinaj. Empress Mawena Safinaj is the commissioner, or should I say the chairperson for the Cultural Commission. And she will give up for, I'm sorry, she's the chairperson for the Women's Commission. And she will give us a solidarity, her statement from the Women's Commission of RCG. Please, let's welcome her with applause. Jah.
Give thanks to Osmosis and give thanks to the earlier speakers. I greet you all in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I and Her Imperial Majesty Empress Menen I. Hail Jah! I sit before you today with humility, gratitude, and an unwavering commitment to the principles and values that unite us as Rastafari. As the Women's Commissioner, it is both an honor and a privilege to address this esteemed gathering at the 2024 Annual Conference of Rastafari in Ghana. I extend my warm respect to all representatives of royalty and all heads of various agencies and institutions who are here with us. We give thanks for your time. My utmost and esteemed respect goes to our chairman, Ras Ahuma Bosco Okanse, whose steadfast leadership continues to guide our movement with wisdom and vision. We are honored to have the special guest of honor who passed through earlier, Honorable Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, whose presence underscored the importance of unity, diversity, and collaboration in our global community. We are deeply honored by the presence of our special guest, the Right Honorable Priest Kalesh Leons, whose dedication to social justice and spiritual enlightenment inspires us all. I also extend heartfelt welcome to our keynote speaker, Dr. Wayne Rose, whose profound insights and intellectual contributions will definitely enrich our discourse and deepen our understanding of the Rastafari faith. The RCG Women's Commission was activated a few years ago to ignite the men balance and energy within the Rastafari Council. The mission of the commission is to coordinate the activities of the Empresses of Rastafari in Ghana. We look up to Empress Menenai as our role model, as we do all we can to emulate her charitable works for humanity, girls' education, healthcare for the youths and elderly, care for the needy, and her revolutionary principle of standing in solidarity with the oppressed and marginalized wherever they may be. We do have a slogan which is Daughters of Empress Menen, and we respond, Pride of our motherland. Daughters of Empress Menen. Pride of our motherland. Thank you. The Women's Commission has made our position known concerning genetically modified organisms, GMOs, which have been stealthily introduced into our local food chain, LGBTQ++++, dreadlocks and education, the wrongful profiling of Rastafari by the men in black, I guess you know who they are, the cultivation of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes, sacramental use of the holy herb, and freedom for Palestine from apartheid and planned genocide perpetrated by Israel and her allies. The Women's Commission has seen the observance of Rastafari holidays, organized events such as Empress Menen, drawing competition for our youths, occupational skills trainings, donation of fruit seedlings to the community, donation of stationery to pupils of basic public schools in low-income communities, donations to new young mothers at community public maternity clinics, organization of health outreach targeting women and children in low-income communities in partnership with Connect the Youth and 99 Wings of Hope. This year, however, our planned activities include the organization of occupational skills events in authentic Ghanaian beading and monetization of such skills for young women in Somenya to commemorate Empress Menen Earth Day while telling the world who Queen Omega is. Identification and recognition of the patroness of the Women's Commission, health work, free health screening in a yet-to-be-identified needy community, and continuation of planned visitation to elderly members of the Rastafari community. Yet, even as we celebrate our achievements and plan to achieve more, we remain handicapped financially. We would be grateful to receive donations in cash and kind via this mobile number, 0245-878-408. Rest assured that your funds received will be judicially utilized and transparently accounted for. May we all have a fruitful conference. Thank you so much for your attention.
Yes, per our program order, we are supposed to take a solidarity message from Empress Marina Blake. Empress Marina is the president for the Haile Selassie Foundation for Law and Society. But we shall skip that and invite solidarity message from our member organizations, mansions, and what have you. So, if we have Socialist Forum of Ghana here, Let me see by hand. A representative from the Reggae Network Ghana. For now, I'll invite Rolf Ringo, who is a representative of the 12 Tribes of Israel Ghana chapter, to give us a statement on behalf of the 12th Tribe of Israel Ghana chapter. He has 3 minutes to deliver his solidarity message. Please, let's welcome him with applause. Ja.
Ja. Yes, I am Naphtali, and I represent the 12th tribe of Israel. Yes, I would like to greet the honorables seated here. Kailash, greetings to Empress Mawina, greetings to our president, Dr. Wayne and Nana Otu. Yeah, man, I give thanks for the platform. Yeah, man, as I said, I am Naphtali, and I represent the 12th tribe of Israel. Yeah, man. You know, as I said, I represent the 12th tribe of Israel. Our theme for the day is political consciousness. So when they are talking about consciousness, it is all about awareness. And, you know, we know that it is our politicians that are in charge of our natural resources. And when we talk about natural resources, we're talking about the land, our gold and timber and everything. Those are the resources that are being turned into finished goods, and those are what are supposed to develop iron. But the development processes are very slow. You know, we give thanks for the initiative of the free education, and we are urging our politicians to, you know, come up with more initiatives. We want good health system. You know, we have the national health, but, you know, we are not proud of it because you have to spend lots of money when you still go to the hospital. You know, we need good roads. You know, as my sister talked about the GMO, we still have GMO in the system. We need enough organic food for I and myself. You know, as I said, I would like to just read some quotes from His Imperial Majesty. You know, yes, they've given us 3 minutes, but just pardon me. He said, everything Africa needs is within her. So we have everything. And Nkrumah also is saying that New Africa is ready to fight his own battle and show that Africa, after all, black man is capable of managing his own affairs. Rastafari with these few words.
Give thanks. We now invite a rep from the Ghana Culture Forum to give us a solidarity statement. A rep from the Ghana Culture Forum. Please, let's welcome her with applause.
Thank you. I stand on existing protocols. I greet you all. Good afternoon. Greetings. I bring you greetings from the Ghana. I bring you greetings from the Ghana Culture Forum, from my chairperson who is here, Nana Otu, and my vice chair, Daddy Bosco, and the members of the family. For those of you who are hearing the name for the first time, we are a civil society which is dedicated to the players in the creative industry. There are 85 institutions and individuals who are members. Some of them include Ghana Actors Guild, Visual Arts Association, Musical, and many more. So we encourage you to join us if you're a member of the creative industry. Ghana Culture Forum extends its warm regards as you convene on this wonderful occasion of the 9th Rastafari National Conference. For an election year, your theme could not have been a better one. As a country, we continuously enjoy each other and participate in our rich socio-cultural diversity, irrespective of our backgrounds, be it political, religious, or social standing. It is extremely important for us to remember that we have very vital roles to play in shaping the political consciousness in relation to national development. Irrespective of where we find ourselves, we should realize that we wield unique influence in shaping the hearts and minds of people, and we must ensure that we do not falter on that. Through our unique platforms, we possess the power to amplify the message that engaging in politics is not merely a duty, but a pathway to advocate and foster awareness, leading to the positive change we aspire to see wherever we find ourselves. In this collective endeavor, let us draw inspiration from your very own community, a peaceful and harmonious force within which you value peace and unity that can serve as a guiding light for our political consciousness movement. Let us enforce this active awareness to ensure effective governance and sustainable development for Mother Ghana. May this occasion inspire each of you to embrace the role as active contributors to the growth of Ghana. Have a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your statement, Madam. We hereby invite the rep for Musica. I think that's Chiziwela. Oh. Please, let's welcome Chiziwela with a round of applause. He's a musician himself, and he's speaking on behalf of the Musician Union of Ghana. Ja. Blessed, my Lord.
Ja. Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia. Ja. Rastafari. On behalf of the President, the executives, and the entire members of the Musicians Union of Ghana, I bring you warm felicitations. And also congratulate you on your 9th annual conference. Musica, or Musicians Union, has been a close ally to Rastafari Council since from the formation. Some of the key reasons being that 90% of the reggae musicians in our reggae department as Musicians Union are racists. Thank you. For the theme today, I give a special congratulations to the leadership of the Rastafari Council for choosing this theme, political weapon, as a keynote for national development. And with the vast or little experience we have over there, I would like to touch on your goals in the effort to acquire this political consciousness. Then it should be constant revisitation or constant visitation of your goals, the measurement of your growth, and finally, sustainability. When I mean your goals, from the formation of this noble organization, your experienced leaders brought a lot of things together as your goal. And it is also expedient that you review yourself annually, which is your conference, to revisit these goals. Find out the areas that are tough challenges and define mechanisms to approach them. After the revisitation of your goals, you also need to measure your growth. What are you accelerating or are you retarding? But I know that retardation is not in Rastaman's dictionary because we always onward, forward. So, in measuring your acceleration, whether you are moving on average speed or you are slow but sure, it's all good to review these things and make you a better organization. Respect to man like Ras Aswad, President Kex, Emperor Razeu, and your legal team in standing up to fight for the food sovereignty when these genetically modified organisms agents wanted or attempted to vandalize our country. The government was quiet because their hands has been tied in one of those normal agreements they must have signed when they were looking for help. But it took the Rastafari Council, the priests of the nation, and the soldiers of this country to stand up on their feet using legal means, using the rule of law to wage war with the Monsantos and co. This is a political consciousness. This is a political consciousness. Few years or months back, respect to Empress Safinaj, I only came to hear right now that she is the women commissioner because I had wanted to make mention of it that scrolling through my Facebook, I used to see her trying to put these things together for women and youths, on making soap making, detergent production, and these beads and all these things, which is needful for Rastafari Council because Rastafari Council is a community. I also give you enough respect for your credit union. I am sure by now you must have attained the post of or the position of savings and loans. Very soon we are expecting a Rastafari bank. These are all political consciousness. It is this, when you attend this political, Rastafari bank, that you venture into, or you put into ventures, or venture into small-scale businesses like this bead production, bread production, bottled water production. You are bigger than pure water rubber sachet production now. So you go into high heights and attract more than the Minister for Chieftaincy. The government himself, the Nanado himself, or whoever is the sitting president, would like a relationship with the Rastafari Council because you have built your political consciousness. I don't want to waste your much time, but a lot to say. But I just have to stop here with these few words. Rastafari. Greetings from Musica once again.
Rastafari, we give thanks to Shiziwela. Now we welcome the delegation from the Royal Impesa family. With a round of applause, please, let's welcome them. The Royal Impesa family of the Ghana Traditional Council. And so too. Ile. Yeah.
biso jata biso ide. Ide. Abwa biso jata biso ide. Yeko ide. Yaba ide. Abwa biso jata biso ide. Ika jata jata. Jata. Ke jata jata. Saudi Agra kobobla jata beriu. Saudi Agra kobobla jata beriu. Soto jata beriu. Impressor Rastafari Council, the whole Ghana, Africa. Try Omanyaba.
Most High Selassie Jah. Most High Selassie Jah. Yes, we welcome the Royal Mpesa family to the 9th National Rastafari Conference here at the Art Center Auditorium. With their permission, we'll continue with our program. We hereby invite Kwekuando of the Food Sovereignty Ghana and also of the Black Star Line Cooperative Credit Union to give us a solidarity statement on behalf of Food Sovereignty Ghana. The earlier speaker mentioned his organizations and the work they have done. Please, let's welcome him with applause. Ja. Five minutes, my lord.
Yes, give thanks. Nime Kename, distinguished panel on the high table, all protocols observed. I am very honored and privileged to be addressing the 9th National Conference of the Rastafari Council of Ghana. Indeed, I am the Communications Director for Food Sovereignty Ghana. My name is Kwekuando Bafo. We are privileged to be associated with the Rastafari Council of Ghana because we've received a lot of support in the work that we've been doing in Ghana to safeguard our food system. Today, the theme, political consciousness, a key requirement for national development, is very apt. It comes at a timely point in our lives when it's up to us, the people, to determine the future that we want to live. It's up to us to determine our destiny. And what is going on now has been going on for centuries, which is the corruption of our leadership and the imposition of foreign systems into our land. And I want you to all be aware that right now there's a serious agenda for the government to introduce genetically modified cowpea, what we call the black eye bean or beans. It has happened in Nigeria. So the genetically modified cowpea is coming through the borders. You'll find some in Mokola, you'll find some in town in the markets. It looks bigger and more white than the other beans. But this bean has been genetically modified, and there's no safety tests that show what happens when a human being eats this GMO cowpea for 1 year, for 3 months, for 2 years. And so we've been in a running battle with the government in court for the past 8 years. We're going back to court on Thursday at the Human Rights Court opposite Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum to hear the judgment. We've been waiting for this judgment for over 1 year. But basically it's important that without managing your food systems, you have no power. You have no power at all. You can never have political power. You can never have economic power. So it's very important that we support each other, that you support yourselves by saving the natural seeds. Because now, if you go to the north, you go to the rural areas, you'll find a lot of Ghanaian farmers who no longer have seeds of their own that they kept from the last harvest. They have to sit on their motorbike or their bicycle and go to the next commercial center and buy seeds that are produced by people from other countries. Seeds that only come to Ghana through the port of Tema or Takoradi or the airport. But that is not a country that is sovereign. That's a country that's ready to always beg. And if you don't stand on your own feet, you'll never ever be the kind of people that the Honorable Marcus Garvey wanted us to be, that his greatest disciple, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, wanted us to be. I was speaking to one of our guests of honors today from the National Commission of Culture. We were talking about the importance of culture, that every advanced nation today has developed through their indigenous culture, whether it's the Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese, or even the Europeans themselves. It's only us who shun our local culture and can't find the strength with which to develop. So the seeds that people are taking away from Africa today are our cultural assets. Our cultural assets. These things are seeds that have been worked on for millennia, centuries by our forefathers. Only for a foreign company to come, take the seed, go and patent it in their lab and come and say that it is yours, that it belongs to them. And people will come and remove food from your plates if you don't safeguard your systems. If you don't get rooted into your culture, you'll sway in the wind. China is only great today because they've tapped into the old greatness of what they remember as old great China. That's what India is following today. That's what the Japanese are following. So when will Ghana, when will Malawi, when will Sudan, when will Tanzania, when will Mozambique do this? It's up to us, the people. So I want to ask you to continue to support Food Sovereignty Ghana. It's been an uphill battle because all the funds are on the other side with Bill Gates and Monsanto. But I want to end with a very profound quote that was said by our late mother, may she rest in peace, Professor Ama Ata Edu, the very renowned international laureate and poet. And I want to end on her quote, which says, "There are powerful forces undermining the progress in Ghana, in Africa. But one must never underestimate the power of the people to bring about change." So our destiny is in our own hands. Long live Rastafari, long live Ghana, long live Africa. Give thanks.
Thank you very much, my Lord. We invite Robert Duce from the African Continental Unity Party to give a solidarity message on behalf of ACAP. Please, let's welcome them with applause. Ja.
Ja. We are happy to grace this occasion of the 9th Rastafari Conference of Ghana on the 2nd of March, 2024. When Rastafari is mentioned, what comes to mind is consciousness. We, the people of Africa Continental Unity Party, ACAP, a Pan-African based and conscious party, said Ayiku, and thank you for this invitation. The story of Africa is known by all. No one is here that is alien to the story of Africa. From slavery to colonialism. And now we are facing new colonialism. Everyone is trying how to break the chains and the yoke of this thing that come upon us as a continent. We, the people of Africa, have tried so many times to unite and find our own destiny, find our own way, find a way that we do things that befit us. We have tried and failed many times. Many have come on this land journey and struggled for it. We remember Kwame Nkrumah, remember the recent Gaddafi that falls on his own land by forces from outside. My grandmother and my grandfather were refugees once in Togo because they think to differ when we were forming Ghana or when they want to merge Ghana, the nation we have now. They were thinking to not work. But today we have Ghana that is peaceful with different tribes. Our king, who is here to grace our occasion, is here. I'm from Volta region. When he came in, I stood up for him. We clapped for him. We are enjoying peace. When we talk about peace in Africa, we know we Africans are not ready to fight each other. When anything starts, quarrel or war, we know the forces that promotes this are not the Africans themselves. We all know this. We believe that Africa will one day become a continent with one president, one government, and one power base. We thank you so much for inviting us, and we know that you will join us in this journey of this political consciousness to achieve this. Thank you.
Give thanks, my Lord. We will give thanks to the ACAP for joining us at the 9th National Rastafari celebration. We hereby invite Habisha, who will give us a solidarity statement on behalf of CASI, the Kwekwando Sustainable Institute, and the Helping Africa by establishing schools at home and abroad. They've been working consistently with RCG, and we give thanks. Actually, he coordinated for us to get a keynote speaker. So let's welcome Big Sean with a round of applause. Ja!
Rastafari, glory to word, glory to sound, glory to the true and living I, Emperor Haile Selassie I. First of all, we give thanks to the organizers, the president, and all of those who made this possible. Give thanks to our keynote and our special guests who've come from far to greet you. And on behalf of the board of directors and the staff at the Kwekwando Sustainability Institute and Habasha, we give thanks to see the gathering of our brothers and sisters here in Ghana. We know that our journey and our mission is not complete, but as His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie has told us, Africa's Armageddon has passed, and Africa awaits her creator and creators. So we are here, those of us from abroad and those of us on the continent, to bring about one Africa, to bring about the solidarity that His Imperial Majesty has instructed us, and the future for Africa is bright. We know Africa is the future for the world. Africa is the future for humanity. So we give thanks to be a part of this gathering. We look forward to the productive and positive reasoning that we'll have, and look forward even more to the works that will come out of this reasoning and many more. So again, Rastafari blessings to one and all. Give thanks again. Rastafari.
Give thanks, my Lord. Let's invite and welcome Befikrum Nyabinghi House. They also represent the Central Region, and they are giving a solidarity statement on behalf of the Central Region. We have as well with us Western Region, who will be coming up, and Asante Region. So let's welcome Jaedi with a round of applause. Ja. A short solidarity statement. 3 minutes.
Rastafari. Yeah, man. Yeah. I give thanks and praises to Mosai Jah Rastafari. Yeah, I give thanks to the head of the table. I chiefs Rastafari. Yeah. From Central Region, Befikrum Nyabinghi House. Yeah, it's been a long time that we all know how we struggle, how we fight for the legalization of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes. Yenina yenim ekwana ya faswa ya bre se sadewe ebebam. Right now, we all know that the government has already passed the bill, and right now we, the Rastafari, have been intimidated a lot. We've passed through a lot when it comes in terms of marijuana or cannabis. So if something like this has come, we don't have to stay back and watch them take advantage upon it. We have to stand strong, come together, and hold it as one of our industry in our mix, Rastafari. Yeah. This is an opportunity for we, because when we talk of marijuana, we know it better than them, and we can use it well than them, and we know how it produces, because right now Befikrom are producing product which is registered from Food and Drugs Board. Yeah, two particular products, Rastafari. Yeah, inku and any oil. Ya register, Ghana money na ajiatum, say we can sell them to them and they will buy it from us. Whereby they are also, Woma Kase is very good. A year that sex in Kunaya yen a year, upia etobi. Neto sumienu, my young when they say Rastafari, we still need school. We still need school, Rastafari school, because we have communities. Befikrom, we have a community whereby we have children and we have a lot of people who will be interested to attend Rastafari school. We have to have it, because when we go into the other societies like our Christians and Muslims, they all have such schools. So Rastafari needs school, and I know we will get it. Rastafari. Also, for our topic today, about the political consciousness. When we talk of consciousness in politics, I and I, Father Empahil Selassie I, is the first man who liberates I and I from the hands of the bad boys, from the Babylon, from people who come and oppress us. But his Selassie is first politician that we know, and it's theocratical politics. He do something that is from Moses himself. It's something that the laws that Moses himself gave it to man to obey. So if we are into politics, Rastafari don't need divide and rule. Because when it's come in the terms that I will be MPP, and this man will be PPP, and this man will be this man will be this, they are going to divide us. I am sure and I know that Rastafari can have our own political party to take something that they have taken it from our hand for a long time. Kwame Nkrumah know that many parties or many political parties will not help us. It will rather destroy our country and make the people enjoy what we have without giving it to the others. But when we come into a way that we are going to have one political party, which is from Rastafari, like the theocratical regime as His Majesty Empahil Selassie established, that is what is going to help Africa. This kind of politics can never help we. And we should not sit down, or we should not limit ourselves in a way that they will divide us and we join them. Other than that, we are all coming to be corrupt like them, because we call them, they are corrupt. We always say that they are corrupt. And if we go and join them, we are going to be corrupt ourselves. What I will say, or what Befi Chrome is saying, that if we come into political consciousness, then Rastafari have to stand up, because Rastaman too can be a president. Rastaman can be a minister. Rastaman can be MP. We have to form a political party as one people, so that we will not be divided. Let's come together. They have robbed we a lot. And right now, the Muslim man has deceived them. Because when we go into the political parties, if he is not Muslim, he's a Christian. If he's not Christian, he's the other side. But we never witness Rastafari. Right now, the people are waiting for Rastafari. So we Rastafari should come together, form a political party, so that we can be able to win and rule Africa as a conscious Rastafari in the whole African city. We give thanks to Mosai Jah Rastafari, who has bring I and I together today. We give thanks unto him for Iva and Iva. Jah Rastafari.
Jah Rastafari. There are a few more statements, a few more solidarity statements to be taken. However, the president have informed me that our time has been fast spent and there is the need to engage our officials to make their statement. So I'll hereby invite, we'll be taking more solidarity messages after the keynote address, with all due respect. We will be taking a statement from the National Commission on Culture, Nana Otuo Owahene Achampong, who has been here very long time ago. At this time, we want to take his statement. Please, let's welcome him with applause. Jah.
Jah. Humbly happy to be here. The chair, members of the high table, Nime Name, all protocols observed. I'm giving this solidarity message on behalf of the National Commission on Culture, the main government agency mandated to manage from a holistic point of view the cultural life of the citizenry of Ghana under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Minister was here, who happens to also be the caretaker minister of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. invited guests, it is with great honor and privilege that I'm experiencing this moment with you today as Executive Director of the National Commission on Culture. As we gather here to delve into the theme of political consciousness, a key requirement for national development, I am reminded of the profound significance of this discourse in shaping the future of our beloved nation. The Rastafari movement has long been a beacon of spiritual enlightenment, social justice, and cultural identity, rooted in principles of unity, equality, and liberation. Rastafari ideology transcends beyond mere religious beliefs, but rather embodies a profound political consciousness that challenges the status quo and advocates for a more just and equitable society. The theme for this conference underscores a fundamental truth that political consciousness is indeed indispensable for sustainable national development. In a world fraught with complex challenges, ranging from economic disparities to environmental degradation, the need for informed and engaged citizenry has never been more urgent. By fostering political awareness and active participation, we empower ourselves to shape the trajectory of our nation towards a more just, equitable, and prosperous future. The Rastafari community's emphasis on unity, self-reliance, and social cohesion resonates deeply with the Commission's mission of maintaining the unique cultural identity and values for promotion of integrated national culture. As we strive to promote cultural diversity and foster a sense of belonging among all citizens, we recognize the importance of embracing our differences while celebrating our shared humanity. Brothers and sisters, political consciousness in its essence is the awareness and understanding of one's rights, responsibilities, and agency within the political landscapes. To a large extent, it is the recognition of systematic injustices, the critique of oppressive structures, and the commitment to a collective action for positive change. In the context of national development, political consciousness is not just merely a theoretical concept. It is a transformative force that empowers citizens to actively participate in shaping the trajectory of their country. As we reflect on the theme for today's conference, it is imperative to recognize the intrinsic link between political consciousness and national development. A politically conscious populace serves as a cornerstone of democracy, fostering transparency, accountability, and civic engagement, thereby serving as a driving force behind progressive policy reforms, social justice movements, and a sustainable development initiative. I will kindly want to take this again. It is critical. As we reflect on the theme for today's conference, it is imperative to recognize the intrinsic link between political consciousness and national development. a politically conscious populace serve as a cornerstone of democracy, fostering transparency, accountability, and civic engagement, thereby serving as a driving force behind progressive policy reforms, social justice movements, and a sustainable development initiative. The Rastafari community, with its rich heritage of resistance and resilience, exemplifies the power of political consciousness in effective change. From championing environmental conservation and social equity, the Rastafari principles have been ignited movements that transcend cultural boundaries and inspire solidarity among diverse communities. However, our journey towards national development requires more than just awareness. It demands active participation, collaboration, and perseverance. The journey towards national development requires more than just awareness. It demands active participation, collaboration, and perseverance. We must harness the collective wisdom and strength of our people to confront the myriad challenges facing our nation, from economic inequality and environmental degradation to systemic injustice and political corruption. As representatives of the Rastafari movement, you have a unique opportunity to galvanize political consciousness and mobilize grassroots activism for the betterment of society. Your voices, your experiences, your visions for a more just and equitable world are invaluable assets in our quest for national development. To conclude, I would like to urge all to embrace the theme of this conference as a call to action, a call to deepen our political consciousness, to amplify our voices, and to stand in solidarity with all those who strive for a brighter future. Together, let us pave the path towards an inclusive and prosperous society for generations to come. I am indeed happy to be here, and Mr. Chair and the President, now I want to be Ras Nana Owahine Echampong. Yes, as an honorary member of this great noble fraternity. So, Ja, I thank you.
Yes, sir, my lords. Another round of applause for Ras Nana Owahene Achampong. We thank him very much for that good and sweet statement. I'll hereby introduce to you our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is a priest of the EABIC. That's the Ethiopian African Black International Congress. We call it the Bobo Shanti Order. He's a herbal physician. From an early age, the Right Honorable Priest Kailash K. Lyons decided he would be Rastafari and a doctor due to his love for nature and for the sciences. In 2001, he started medical school in Cuba. The expectation of his first son in 2004 intensified his desire to have safe and effective products at his disposal, marking the beginning manifestations of the herbal products from the Great Physician International. These products were and still are created with the knowledge he gained from medical school and guided by the healing principles and practices he learned directly from his beloved grandmother, Amon, the village healer. Please, let's applaud Amo, the village healer, the beloved grandmother, for impacting our guest speaker with that amount of knowledge. From 2005 to the present, Right Honorable Prince Kailash works have taken him throughout the Caribbean region and the world. In September 2014, Prince Kailash constructed the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, which affords clients a daily experience of living in harmony with nature under his expert and compassionate guidance. The Honorable recently opened, February 2023, the Mount Kailash Herbal School of Esoteric Knowledge, where he embarks on sharing his knowledge in herbal medicine with Baden herbal physicians. Right Honorable Prince Kailash remains the mastermind of numerous projects and initiatives which contribute significantly to the improved quality of life, be it physically, emotionally, spiritually, or ethereally for our people, He continuously elevates the lifestyle of our people through the goods and services provided by his numerous business ventures, including restaurants and an herbal medicine line, his enlightening philosophical stance, and his revolutionary approach to solving many of life's daily challenges. The Rasta Liner Limited Maritime Initiative is yet another testimony of the revolutionary mindset of Right Honorable Prince Kailash Lyons, which he is spearheading based on the philosophies and principles of Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He is also one of the leaders of Ubuntu Movement, a non-profit that is committed to providing the environment needed for the empowerment of residents within stigmatized and high crime risk communities, as well as persons on the whole who do not have access to opportunities to empower themselves. My Lord and Empresses, with a thunderous round of applause, let's welcome Honorable Prince Kailash. Ja.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks. Protocols already established. I'll go to the, yeah. Yes, give thanks. Basically, I like to be at the level of the people. You know, when I'm speaking to the people, give thanks for the moment. My name is Right Honorable Priest Kailash Lyons, as the brother said. I am what we call a herbal physician. And the reason that we actually call ourselves a herbal physician and not a doctor or a herbalist is because as Rastafari, we have always been tasked in creating something new, something revolutionary, and we don't really piggyback on what other people have actually done. And one of the things that, even as I would like to acknowledge the words spoken for before that we heard was that the whole aspect of victimization of Rastafari children trying to get into schools, and another brother said about the cost of medication trying to get into hospitals. I think that as Africans, as Rastafari growing from that African pot, we have a very unique opportunity that instead of trying to go to the hospital that still sells us the drugs imported from Europe and from India and from China, is to invest heavily in research and development and create a medical system and medicine that is appropriate for us as a people. So instead of us trying to go to someone else's hospitals, we could have our own healing facilities that other people could actually benefit from. So after going to medical school, I went to Cuba. I went for the Cuban medical school system. I also went to the American University College of Medicine. I went for the American medical school system. I saw nothing there that was designed specifically for people that look like me. So the great majority of the drugs for high blood pressure, the metformin for diabetes, the lisinopril, and all these different drugs produced, nothing was produced specifically for people that look like myself and yourself. So in that case, many of the drugs that we actually prescribed in a doctor's office, these things, they don't work for you and it don't work for me how it would work for someone who is maybe Asiatic or someone who is maybe a Caucasian. So it is imperative that when we speak of political consciousness, we understand that we are looking at what is our intricate value. What is it that we have learned traditionally? What is it that as Rastafari, through our own culture and tradition, that we could actually share with our people to actually uplift them and make them better people? So I know that we began late. I know my presentation is supposed to be 20 minutes, but I will not take the full 20 minutes. I would actually, just want to summarize my presentation in one of the key aspects of how we are of people of African ascendants look at wellness. So first and foremost, we look at wellness from the core principle of what we call interconnectedness. The principle of interconnectedness, meaning that when a man is sick or a woman is sick, whether it's prostate cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, that sickness is not only looked upon as that individual person being sick, but the person being sick, his family being sick, his community being sick, his village being sick, his city being sick, and his whole nation being sick. Knowing that healing must be approached from the perspective of healing the whole, not just that person's symptom. So your pressure is high, so we give you a water tablet, you drink it, your pressure go down, but yet still, the things that got your pressure high probably is the suffering of your children, or poverty, or depression, or starvation, or lack of good housing. All these things are things that could actually lead to disease. And disease is not only restricted to your physical symptoms, but disease also is reflected in the form of poverty, lack of good education, lack of economical sustainability, lack of proper housing, and all these things that could lead to our disease states. As we realize that stress in its very essence plays a 70% role in the fulfillment of disease. So when a woman comes to our center with breast cancer, we know that that woman with breast cancer, more than likely, 10 years before had polycystic ovarian syndrome. She had fibroids. So when a woman comes with fibroids, it's not that she is trying to save herself from fibroids. We know that down the line, because she has fibroids, she has what you call estrogen dominance. That means that more than likely 5 years from now, she's going to be diabetic. 5 years down the line, she's going to have what you call breast cancer. Because we are looking at the principles of interconnectedness and also the fundamental principle of from center to circumference. Knowing what is happening within your communities, within your own self, how it affects your surrounding. So, in summary, I would just like to urge you as Rastafari people, and as our brother say he want to be called Ras. People are not just called Ras. Ras is a title that you have to attain. Ras comes when His Imperial Majesty was crowned Ras. He had to go through a rigorous process whereby it's a title that was ordained to him as Ras because of his works. So when it is that you have worked and your contributions merit that title, then you could be actually entitled or called Rastafari. So, principally, I am here in Ghana not just for this conference, but as a mentor to an NFL footballer who I came here to support, named Jeremiah Owusu Amoa, who is having a camp here. So I am part of his delegation. So when I heard that I was coming to Africa, I said, well, if I'm coming to Africa, I'd like to spend a little time among the Rastafari community. So we reached out to the community to see how is it that we could have delivered a message of love and peace and justice to our people, and see how we could add value and receive some value from you. So I am here until about the 6th or 7th of March, and I did bring some herbal medicines. So if it is that you have people within the community who have very specific illnesses, like high blood pressure, diabetes, or prostate cancer, or breast cancer, or any type of conditions, I did bring a certain amount of medicines that I would like to actually contribute to the community to see how I could assist them. Give thanks again for having me, and give thanks. I pray that the Creator keeps on guiding us on the trajectory. And I would like to reiterate even the point made by our brethren from the central region, the Rastaman who spoke earlier, that it is critical that Rastafari stays neutral, or Rastafari stays on the position of right, and Rastafari stays on the position of equality and justice, and don't get compromised. So yes, we could be politically conscious, and we could enter into politics, yet still standing on the core principles and the foundation of peace, equality, and justice as established by His Divine Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Give thanks.
Give thanks, my Lord, Honorable Wright, Honorable Prince Kailash, for your statement. We'll now go into the award scheme. There are some deserving members of the community that the council intends to award them. Some of this award will be presented by our Honorable, the Executive, Nana Utuo Achampong, and the others will be presented by Nana from the Impesa family, niece Utuo of the Royal Impesa family. And so we'll hereby hand the microphone over to Nana Utuo Achampong to grant the certificate or the citation to those members. Please, let's welcome him with applause. Ja.
So, they say encouragement strengtheneth labor. Little Joe! Charlie, call the brethren them with the outside. The races where we go, call them and give them the certificate. They are socializing outside. But the first to come up is Nash Laye. And this certificate is in recognition of your immense contribution to the development of Rastafari in Ghana, particularly in the area of community development. The next presentation goes to Kex Dan Pongo. And this recognition is in the area of advocacy. President Kex is the chairman of the Advocacy Commission of the Rastafari Council. He's a Rasta no dey get award, so the protocols of receiving awards are strange. Next is Empress. Next is Empress Mawena Safi Naje. And her recognition is particularly in the area of gender and education. Empress Safi works with the Ministry of Education, and they are responsible for the distance learning. We are even lucky she's here today. Every time they are in Tamale doing training, they are involved at doing this. So at least we give thanks for Empress Safi. Next is Ni Ayite Okai. Ni Ayite Okai, aka Black Santino's recognition is particularly in the area of media. Next up is a young man who has contributed very much to the sustenance of the Rastafari Council, Royal Kofi Asante. Royal Kofi's recognition is in the area of youth development. The next celebrant is Bongo Edward Kweku Amwa, and his recognition is particularly in the area of advocacy. He's also the head of Rastafari in the Central Region, an entrepreneur in his own right. Next is Joak Boateng, Joak, aka Little Joe. And Joak's recognition is in the area of community development. So let's put our hands together for Nana as he takes his seat, and we invite with all due humility and honor Ni Sowutuom, aka Ni Osabu Akwe the First, to do the next set of honors. Next is Michael Blake, aka Jabi. I know Jabi will tell me to kill a goat because I've called this name. But Elder Jabi, please, you are up next. And Jabi will also take it on behalf of his Empress Marina Blake. Empress Marina has been one of the staunchest supports of the Rastafari movement. Every year, they will sponsor us. Not only Empress Marina, but she makes sure that she brings her lawyers. And Jabi, they say behind every successful woman, and Jabi is the one who forced me to make sure me too I go get one certificate. He say if I no take him, he no go take him. So Jabi, I go take him, no worries. And he will also take for his Empress. Since Neo Sabu is here, we will call on one of the youths to come and receive the certificate on behalf of Kojo Kombolo. Jason, where are you? Hey, my lord, come and take the certificate for Kombolo. Kombolo's certificate is in recognition of his contribution to music development. The next celebrant is Dennis Afram, aka Osajifo. And Osajifo's recognition is particularly in the area of music. Asa, bye, Osajifo. Next is Tyrone Magai, the youth who made Rastafari proud. Tyrone is not here, so if anybody can step up and receive it from Ni. We'll now invite an elder Ras who did over 40 years of public service with the Ministry of Health. He is now on retirement. He goes by the name Ancient Abednego Obin Karikari. And the Youth Commission also said, if Jabi say he no go take his certificate, then me too, they forgive me certificate. So need this, me too, is my certificate. Wow. MC, over to you.
Yes, sir. Ras Ahoma Bosco for his contribution of building Rastafari in Ghana, for his immense leadership. He has always availed himself to lead I. Ja. We hail the Most High Selassie Ja. Yes, it's about time we look at the main topic for our gathering here. Like we said, the topic, our theme is political consciousness, a key requirement for national development. And we have invited Ras Dr. Wayne to speak. Dr. Wayne A. Rose, also known as Ras Wayne, is a native of Kingston, Jamaica, and Baltimore in Maryland. He holds a PhD in African diaspora history with additional specializations in African American and early American history from Morgan State University. He also holds an undergraduate degree in Africana Studies and a Master of Arts in History from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. His dissertation is titled, Your Majesty's Obedient Servant, a case study of W.B. Du Bois and Pan-Africanism within the context of Ethiopianism. Ras Dr. Wayne Rose is a co-convener of the School of Sacrament, Rastafari University. Oh, you didn't hear that? Please, let's applaud him. Yes, he's the co-convener of the School of Sacrament, Rastafari University, and a former fellow at Johns Hopkins University Center for Social Concerns. He currently works as a lecturer at Morgan State University and a graduate adjunct professor of history at Jackson State University. He lectures on American history, African diaspora history, and Afro-Caribbean spirituality. His previous teaching institutions include Johns Hopkins University and the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Ras Wayne also worked as a cultural expert and Rastafari resource with the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. In Docs, he provided cultural, spiritual, and life skills counseling to incarcerated men and women and to local community members. He is a notary public in Baltimore County, Maryland. My lords and empresses, please, with a thunderous applause, let's welcome our keynote speaker, Ras Dr. Wayne, for his statement. Ja!
Rastafari. Family, let's give yourself a round of applause, please. Give thanks, family. All protocols established I will adhere to. Honorable President, honorable royal family, honorable family, I greet you through the love of my own family, to the love of Ethiopia, Denkinish, and to the love of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Ja! Rastafari. You know, I've been sitting here listening to everyone talk about political consciousness, and I'm wondering, what am I going to talk about? Seriously. Because all the topics, all the issues, all the relevant points have been touched, have been mentioned. And I sat for days tweaking a presentation, It's about 6 pages long. And I'm thinking, how am I going to edit this now that everything has already been said? But I'll try to edit it, Honorable. And I hope that the words of my mouth and that which is shared with the family will be accepted. Because I am because you are, and you are because I am. The Ubuntu principle must therefore be applied. First, I ask my elders, in terms of even the leadership here and the eldership within the family, permission to speak. Do I have your permission, elders? Give thanks. Give thanks. I pray again that the words of my mouth and the thoughts that I share and the fellowship that I have with you today will bear fruits of affirmative action and compel us to fulfill our mission of elevating ourselves and our deserving humanity. Thanks again to President Bosco Oskansi, Daddy Bosco, whom I met in 2006 on my first visit to Ghana, and for his obedience in divining this opportunity where we all can share this moment. Thanks also to the executives of the Ghana Rastafari Council who have put together this wonderful program and who have been continually bringing forward programs for our indulgence, our contemplation, and our action. I also must pay reverence to my brother Bingishan, a young visionary for whom I have tremendous respect and for whose work is both impactful in and outside of Ghana. Brother Sean, you make all of I and I proud. Give thanks. Keep striving. So the theme, as I said today, or this year rather, is political consciousness, a key requirement for national development. And as I said, after it was shared with me by Daddy Bosco, I mulled over it for a few days. Because you see, politics and Rastafari have a long rift, a division. Rastafari born politics. We put flame on politics. We have said it many times. Yes? And it's especially based on the fact that it was through a political and economic system that the extraction of my ancestors took place in that triangular trade of African bodies in the Americas and Europe. So Rastafari, when we came to consciousness that we don't need to be part of a system that has been forced on us. We can think for ourselves, establish systems for ourselves. Then we rejected the political structure that existed in what is called Babylon. And of course, we know that there are tricksters in politics who consistently seek to deceive, to lie, to undermine, to malign, simply in their own self-interest. So the Rastaman, again, historically, have put a flame on politics. And, of course, it is prudent then for us to overstand in the immediacy of our contemplation that most of our people in the West were ill-equipped, rather, of the requisite tools except for valuable labor skills to adequately leverage and impact ourselves in the post-colonial system. So, in reality, even as Rastafari came into consciousness as a group of thinking people, and I recognize that it was very difficult for us to compete with the structures that existed. In fact, today it is still very difficult to set and establish whatever we're trying to establish, especially when we seek to establish and respect the timeliness of delivering on what we're seeking to deliver. A case in point is our meetings and our collective coming together. We're still working through that. Again, it's an observation that is not unique to Ghana. It happens all across Rastafari and the black world, right? So the first point in our consciousness then is the value of our time. How do we value our time and that of each other? Because if I establish a timeline, or you give me a timeline that I'm going to speak, and it's 1 o'clock, I'm going to set protocols around it, especially if I'm busy like the politician who had to leave earlier, right? Family or consciousness, political consciousness. I'll define it. Many already defined it, but I'll give you my own take on the definition. But one of the important things we ought to recognize and respect is the value attributed to our time. Because in the value that we attribute to our time, we associate economic resources to that value. That's why we say time is money, don't it? Right? So if we do not respect the time that we establish to do whatever, to achieve whatever, then we are wasting economic resources. Each other's economic resources. Let us think about it for a little bit. Much of our struggle in the West has been well documented. The Right Honorable Marcus Garvey documented it among many, many others. We know the struggle. And it's not unique to us who were taken out. An imposition took place right here in West Africa and across the African continent by the Berlin Conference that took place at the end of the 19th century. That is well documented also. So I want you to bear with me just a little bit because, you know, English is not my first language. I don't even remember what my first language is. So sometimes it becomes confusing. But I'll try to define within the English context because it is in an English colony that I was reincarnated. And look at me now. So first, in a brief definition of political consciousness, in its simplest definition, it's one's personal awareness of politics and the political or geopolitical context and impacts upon self and society. So it's how you are aware of who you are within a society. The simplest way you could look at it. So in the context of Ghana, West Africa, where you are, who you are, and how you add value or take away value from the structure that you're in. Remember, you are in a structure. Most of I and I were educated in that structure. Even if we rebel against the education, we're part of the structure. We're socialized in the structure. Right? And remember, in its most simplest form, if I and I were just treading the tradition of the ancients, we would have a political system also. We'd have a value system also. But what the West has created for us is a very intricate system of economics and social planning, social engineering, the building of infrastructures and institutions to support the ideas that they brought to us. And all of us fall lockstep and barrel into that system. In fact, many of us are vanguards in the system. We hold offices in the system. I'm a professor in a system. Of course, I'll tell you privately, since they're not watching, that when I'm teaching my students, I put aside a textbook. And I said, let me give it to you the way I know it as a Rasta man from Africa. Yes? But of course, I still fall within the construct of their system. So, consciousness is your mind and your thoughts. And political or politics is relating to the way power is achieved and used in a country or a society. So in other words, family, political consciousness is your role or value in the society, what you think about power and your relationship with the way power is achieved and used in the country. I want to think about it carefully, you know. It's about you. It's not about somebody else. Political consciousness is your mind, your thought, how you look at yourself within Ghana. And based on how you look at yourself, you're going to represent yourself that way. For instance, I see a group of people came inside here and they made a political statement as they entered. The royal family, you made a political statement as you entered. Because you are aware of your role in society. And based on your value, you are given credit. You're giving royal treatment. You're respected. It's a message to the Rastafari family and the rest of the black family. Because Rastafari writ large says we are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. Don't we say so? Therefore, why don't we conduct ourselves with all the attributes of royalty? Yes? I give you a caveat to that. In 2001, I went to a small island in the Caribbean called St. Lucia. Political consciousness we're talking about, so stay with me. And value, how you are valued, how you're viewed. And when I went into St. Lucia, I made a link. I was trying to rejuvenate myself at a center called Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center. And when I met with the family there, they were of a royal priesthood and a holy nation. They represented the optics of royalty. They represented the demeanor of man in God form, woman in goddess form. And when they met they said, "My Lord, honorable, blessed love." And by virtue of their example, every time I am walking on the streets of St. Lucia, the public of St. Lucia, political consciousness, their consciousness toward I know, they were saying honorable or blessed love to I. Of course, it might be the fact that I rap my head. I've been doing it for many, many years because I love rap head. But it also meant because of the demeanor, the personification of God in flesh, God in man, man in God. And also the articulation and the conduct of consciousness within self that says, I am. I am the divine and the divine is I. And I trod in the countenance of the divine, adding value then to my own self and my own community. It's important, family. We're going to lose it if we don't get it. All right? Okay. So, you have my little definition of political consciousness. It's you, how you see yourself, I and I, how I and I see I and I self, and how then that reflection is mirrored by how we interact. I and I interact with each other, and the society interacts with us based on the value that you put on yourself. In fact, I tell you something, because I love going off script. You see the man who dresses well and presents himself in a luxurious, dignified way, you know, people will open doors for him. Don't matter if he have a penny in his pocket. You know this. Right? That's his consciousness, his political awareness of how society view wealth and view the optics of wealth. And so those of us who say we're children of Kadamawi Haile Selassie, when we look at the image of the man as he conducts himself in the public sphere, we have never seen him in his private sphere, when him take off him clothes and a chill with him family, we don't see that. But what we see of his public representation is one of high dignity, high integrity, high standards, high standing. Let us be reminded of that before we call ourselves Rastafari. Because Ras means leader, and Tafari means one to be respected. So each time I say I is Rastafari, I'm declaring something to all of you. I'm a leader to be respected. Political consciousness, our awareness of ourselves. It's important, family. I have a lot more that is written here. I'm going to skip the rest of this page because I'm going off script and I'm going to save us some time. And it will be available on the website. So you'll be able to read the full context of the presentation. So then, having said that very emotional piece, because I get fired up, because Rastafari is my life. I live it. I don't pretend it. Having said that, we have some questions for ourselves that are intimate and important. The question is, are Rastafari people politically conscious? I have an answer. Yes. Yes! I and I are politically conscious. Mind you, it's problematic if you say yes, you know. Because if you say yes, as I have said, then here's the mirror to your consciousness that must be examined. We must look at ourselves then, as His Majesty says, in the depth of our consciousness. And of self, so that they could claim for themselves what they wanted to claim and identify themselves how they wanted to be identified. And so the optics of poverty was part of the initiation of Rastafari. People see it that way, like it's poverty, but it was a rejection of Babylon as a system. Having rejected Babylon from the 1930s and 40s and even the 50s into the 1960s, where black liberation movements are evolving in Africa and the Caribbean and the Americas, Rastafari took on a new personification. That's where, from the 1950s, we had the Honorable King Emmanuel VII, who took on a personification of God in the flesh. The mic kind of have this little power that is, I'd rather use my own voice. He took on that personification. You have others who took on personifications of dignity and respect in Rastafari. Yet, in the Rastafari movement, we have multiple levels of growth, from childhood to adulthood. Let's call it that. Yes? So you have people just joining Rastafari, and some of them are socialized by what Rastafari looked like in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And they want to represent themselves that way. Still rejecting, perhaps, Babylon. You have others who know Rastafari from what somebody said to them and what the music said to them. Right? And the image of Rastafari is always walking around with a spliff, and you're burning a spliff, and yeah, man, and you say, ja! And all of that. It's part of another growth of Rastafari and a maturing of Rastafari. We're talking about political consciousness and your value within a society. Yes? So family, you have others who have reached a level who they're now contemplating governance, leadership, infrastructural development, so that institutions can be set, so that our youth can be educated. But when the public look at Rastafari, they don't make the differentiations. They don't see the differences necessarily. They know that I dress like this, and another man is in his, what do you call it, wife beater, yeah? And they don't make the distinctions. Movements and organizations in Daddy Bosco have to set some order. Because we say His Majesty is a man of order. We can't say we're lions and then we roam free and then you're still talking about being organized. Because all of us, as Rastafari says, His Majesty says, organize, centralize, and come as one. So if we're coming as one, our institutions must be prepared to teach the youth what the optics of Rastafari ought to be, what the language of Rastafari must be, and what the liberty of Rastafari is, even when there are some small deviations. Yes? Some man want to free up them natty. Glory be. It must be free. I free mine up inside most time. Yes? But the core components of Rastafari, which is a knowledge system, which is the work of equal rights and justice, which is the representation of the highest man, the man who has evolved from infancy to godship. Rastafari, we have to have institutions that teach that. That is why I salute my Baba Shanti brothers. By the way, generally, I identify as Nyabingi. Now today, I identify singularly as Rastafari, because I am He. Give thanks. So, is political consciousness then a key requirement for national development? And before offering my conclusion on the question, I want to further interrogate that question and reconcile the era today of our current socialization on political consciousness. And I'll give you this by read. In the 90 plus years since the birth and growth of the Rastafari movement, even when I articulate a position of non-political involvement, that is what Rastafari generally says, we're not politically aligned, I have always been politically conscious, as I said before, and has been agreed by our members. I have defined our role in society. We place specific value to ourselves in society. We have engaged and spoken to our people and the broader society through the arts, through music, through italivity, through cultural and spiritual retentions, recreation, and the dissemination of African cultures to our people for the required balance of our communities. Rastafari have done all of that. That is political consciousness. That is value that we have added. Give yourself a round of applause then for that. We have labeled and denounced the political systems of our societies, calling them Babylon. We say, fire! From Babylon. Haven't we done that? Rastafari people. So it's I who have done that. That's a part of your consciousness. And I've also called for judgment on the whole system of injustice and inequality. All of this, my family, I have done because of our personal awareness of the governing systems. I will give thanks. For a variety of reasons, we have failed to secure the technocratic preparation, economic, and political resources necessary for national development. It's true. There's a man come give $5,000 a while ago. We should actually be giving him a small check when he's leaving. Because we have the resources, we just don't see how we have it. We don't know how much we have it. Yes? I'm not hitting a daddy bus, I'm just saying the truth. The next question, therefore, must be what has this political consciousness gained for us and the people I serve? And has Rastafari sufficiently leveraged our political consciousness? Can I leverage that consciousness? And if I have not gained proportionally to what has been expended in the society, what are the prudent steps and the necessary changes for implementation in the now or for the near future? The what, who, how, and when of these questions are still being passively defined. That's why we gathered. We're taking a quite passive approach. But it is time to be more assertive. Starting with this conference, we must be more assertive in defining how. Who is our leadership? How we engage leadership? How we respect the leadership? Yeah, I'll tell you something. I had the privilege of meeting your honorable president. We sat for 2 hours waiting on him, nearly 2 hours. It's not a criticism, it's just what it is. No, I'm telling you something because it's important. But he called for the meeting, invited I, and he gave her a time. He gave I a time, and everyone was there waiting on him. When I came here, I saw Daddy Bosco, the president, waiting on most of I to come. We must flip that script. If we say he's the president, show him some respect. Now, if you tell me he hasn't earned the respect, then I'll tell you that Jabod tell you, say, you can't give Jabod a certificate unless you give Daddy Bosco one. So if you respect Jabod, Jabi, you must respect Daddy Bosco. Family, I'm saying in other words, this is how we engage national development, even at the micro level. Because we have already condemned the system of which we have been part of. I'm going to touch on that some more. But if we are going to create an ethos, a way of being that defines us clearly when everyone sees us, I must start showing respect for our basic institutions. The Rastafari Council of Ghana is one of our primary basic institutions. let us start showing the respect to it. So when a thing is called for a time, show respect for the time. Yes, yes, yes. So the question of national development has been and remain one of our undefined considerations. I and I are seeking, the question is, are I and I seeking exclusivity for self-governance? And that's what I look for. Mr. President, are we seeking exclusivity? We want a Rastafari nation? Okay, I'm just asking. So you see, if anyone wants an exclusive Rastafari government, it don't look like Daddy Bosco is on your side. But it's a question I'm asking. And I'm teasing within the same way. Because we're family, you know. Let us not think of this in a formal way like Ras Wayne, because I'm a doctor and all them things. I'm not your brother. I am your brother. And we're going to have family talk. All right? So are we looking to have an exclusive government? We have to think about it. Where? Within which state? And on what slate? What is the theme of governance that we want that from? Things to consider. Who are I and I contemplating as leaders? Where are our contemporary leaders? Where are they? We have Daddy Bosco's one. We know him president, and we know our honorable sister is heading and coordinating women's affairs, and we know we have a treasurer. Yeah? But is that a sufficient slate for governance? The preparation for nation building? All right. So Daddy Bosco already answered, though. He said no. But I think in the construct of Rastafari, there is a way to define ourselves that even if we merge ourselves within the national ethos of Ghana, being part of the body politic of Ghana, when they hear Rastafari, when they see Rastafari, they know what we represent by the way we live, conduct ourselves, and the principles by which we live. Yes? So then, it is still necessary to define leadership and hold our leadership at the highest level as we hold ourselves. But I did digress from the idea of language, didn't I? I moved away from language. I want you to think about this too, because it is part of not just our political consciousness, but the framing of national development. In the states where I live, and I almost said shamefully, but I won't, because I should have been long home in Africa. But then the world really belongs to I, so I engage the world from wherever I am. But in the States, you have institutions that have been created, and in those institutions we have been labeled African people, and enough Rastafari people take the labels also. They call these our people minorities. Minorities. Right? Do I and I know who is a minor? By show of hand. Family, Jabod, you know who is a minor, my lord? Jabod, come on. So we know who is a minor. Where he is? Where is he? He's a child. Yet you have people of African ascendancy, language again, walking around managing the institutions that are called minority affairs. Children affairs. So as silver as my royal precepts are, someone would call me a child. And in the construct of America, this is why they call people of African ascendancy, they call them boy. Come here, boy. Hey, gal, come here. And then we take the language of dissension and we multiply that language by calling our women bitches, our brothers dogs. You're my dog, you're my dog. Right? All languages that denigrates ourselves and our royalty, our integrity, our dignity. We no longer stand on the dignity of the emperor and our ancestors who showed us dignified personification of Africa. We need to think of this because language, all of it that we use, I and I use, must elevate us. I no longer say people of African descent because I'm not falling. Africa is not falling. African people may have fallen, but we are on the rise today. We're on a trajectory that is unstoppable. And that is what Rastafari and the council must accept today as part of our political consciousness as we seek national development. So when people see us on the road, as they would see the royal family walk on the road, they give some respect. Or at least as it's done in St. Lucia, they'll say, "Blessed love my Lord and Empress." Family, of course, most of I and I have accepted and embraced the title Rastafari, either as part of our individual names. You look, I have a book just published. I probably am one of the first in an academic setting to publish an academic book that on the title of the book, my name is Ras Wayne Rose, not Dr. Wayne Rose. Because I elevate Ras above even the doctor. It's a political statement I was making because of my political consciousness. That I want them to know that I name myself Ras based on my father's name. But anyway, we are saying most of us have taken this name, these titles, as part of our individual or as part of our group name or community name. And I say we are Rastafari. And if we do, this is among the highest accolades in our existence. You have to know this. Leader to be respected. A leader or leaders to be respected must overstand themselves. And unfortunately, many who wear the symbols of Rastafari and the optical features of Rastafari fail to represent the moral and social elevation of the Divine Majesty Kadamawe Haile Selassie I, who I and I aspire to become like. In other words, the Rastafari cannot be diminished by the negative associations of the people of the movement. We cannot bring down Rastafari, is what I'm saying, family. Rastafari is a lifting up, is an elevation of the black family. Yes? You see, as I start talking about the elevation of the black family, you see this totem come to eye? Yeah? It's an elevation of Rastafari. We take all of it, all of it. Yes? So I'm going to seal up, but I wanted to say this. I need to say this, family. We all feel the pressures brought on us by the movement of time. Time is moving. And we're feeling then a fierce urgency to act in the moment. We want to rush. We want everything now, don't it? When you want some money. When you want that beautiful, beautiful homemade. Now. Need a car now. The fierce urgency of now is on the movement and the people of African ascendancy. Yes? And especially because my first time in Africa, I didn't have all of this, 1 and 2 strands. No, I'm showing the optics of an elder. Yes? And sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm saying, wow, who that? Can't recognize the youth that I feel like. So we have that sense that things must be done for us now. Yes? Still, I and I are not prepared. Let us be honest. We are not all prepared with the required skills for structured progress and governance of self and our community. Then I and I must escalate our preparation, family. The increments are easy, Let go of the fierce urgency of now. Let go of the feeling that everybody must do now. If you are at the elevated level, keep building on that. And start building the youth, the preparation of the youth, the next generation to join us. Right? I have five youth. Such a failure. As an African man, I should have had 15 or 16. Yeah? My father had 15, so I thought I should have had 16, at least to do better than my father, but I'll accept that I've done well enough. And I grew them up in Rastafari. And they've taken other paths, they've been doing other things, but they have been given the foundations of Rastafari. If we build the institutions that will help in educating them, then they will stay the course. And even if they deviate, they'll be able to come back to the source, right? The institutions that we build, this is why I admire and applaud the work of Right Honorable Priest Kalis and even my brother here, Bingi Sean, who are building something that can employ people, that sets standards for people, even as a micro proof of concept of our preparedness to represent ourselves within a national ethos, within the development of nation state and nationhood. So let us not worry about where everybody else is. The mirror is yours to examine. Have I done enough? Am I doing enough? What else can I do? I went back to university when I was 42. I'd already established a business and ran it for 21 years. And I went back to university at 42 because I went to Ethiopia to live. And when I went to Ethiopia to live, you had elders who were Rastafari in the community told I and I that they're sorry that they came to Ethiopia because they're suffering. And I said, but you can't say that, your mother even said that. They said, but it's true, Ras Wayne. And so I started looking deeply into this notion of why are we in Africa? And what is our preparation? Why did our people leave Jamaica and the United States and Trinidad and Tobago and St. Lucia and other places and come to Africa? We came emotionally. We love Africa. We love it dearly. But many of our people who came were not prepared with the requisite skills to cope within a system that they believe they're running away from. Yes? They left Babylon to face Babylon right here because Babylon is an idea, it's a system of governance that positions economics above people, that positions the dehumanization of African people and wealth above African people. And you come in and you're seeing the same system. Or you run away believing that, as some of the elders had told us, boy, enough land there, Africa. There's a lot of land in Africa. And you have land is giving away in Africa. No. None of it is true. Some of the elders and leaders of community can offer you land, but there's still a process. And then if you don't have a vision and you come out of the city of Kingston like I did, and you're going to the country in some region of Africa, you better be able to plant your own food. And if you don't have the requisite skills of agriculture to plant your food, you're going to starve. Or you're going to run into the city of Addis Ababa just to try to make a little hustle, sell a dime bag. But that was Babylon you're running away from. Family, I am concluding, but I'm saying, don't worry about the optics of what people represent us to be today. Be knowledgeable of I and I self, as the divine is within us. Let us manifest the highest integrity of self. Let us ensure that we exhaust our possibilities to achieve the skill sets of the 21st century, so that we're not putting a flame on artificial intelligence. We're not putting a flame on money. We're not putting a flame on a car, a big nice car. We're enslaving artificial intelligence. We're enslaving money. We're enslaving the car to do what? To work for us. Because that is the reality. Make it work for I and I. So we need to know it in order for it to work for I and I. And so that they're not able to use it just to gather your data to formulate some product or services so that you can consume. That's the skill. That's what they've developed as a skill. Ultimately, though, my family, I would remind us that it's prudent to recall and reiterate what Emperor Haile Selassie I said in speaking to Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and the other newly independent African states in Cairo 1964. He said we would, however, add these last requirements. That's to the conference. These last requirements. What is needed above all is patience, which accepts delays while striving to overcome them, and tolerance, which comprehends our weaknesses, our selfish ambitions, and our narrow self-interest, while we strengthen our will and stiffen our moral fiber and devotion to principle and international morality, which alone can arm and shield us and support us in the daily strife for which is our fate as we toil to better the lot of Africa and all men everywhere. Emperor Haile Selassie I concluded, unless I find the requisite courage and fixity of purpose to rise above ourselves, we shall be broken on the wheel of our own invention, become slaves of our own despotism. The Spirit of Africa then, 1964, and the Spirit of Ghana, Africa today, 2024, 60 years later. The Spirit of Africa today demands our serious contemplation, our utilization of our political consciousness to ensure that the nation we build, the nation perhaps we contribute to, is one that is just, verdant, peaceful, and representative of Rastafari. Leaders to be respected. I am your Majesty's obedient servant, Karamari Haile Selassie I, Jah Rastafari.
My lords and empresses, I think you can do better. Yes. Raswin deserves a bigger round of applause for the education, the enlightenment. I believe we have all taken a lot of notes. We have been educated, enlightened, and inspired. And we give thanks. Yes, his political consciousness message also gave us a bit about time consciousness and the need to add value to ourselves and the things we do. Very soon we'll be closing the first phase of this conversation. We'll be going into the second part where we'll be breaking away into three groups where we'll be having discussions centered on the advocacy issues, that is cannabis, the women's issues led by Empress Mawena, and also one group will be looking at health. We've had a lot of teachings about health, and we want to see the way forward with regards to our health consciousness. So after the first session, there will be the breakaway session where we'll be dividing ourselves into three groups. One, to discuss cannabis. The second, to discuss women empowerment issues. And then the third, to discuss health conscious issues. Remember why? So before we go into the closing bit of the first phase, there are still some solidarity messages that we need to take before the president gives us his closing remarks. So I hereby invite from the Royal Impesa family a representative to give a solidarity message on behalf of the Royal Impesa family of Sotum and the Ghana traditional area. So please, let's welcome our traditional leaders with a round of applause. Hilja. Yile, 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 yile. Yile, 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 yile. Jatabisu, yile, yile. So, Bobo Selassie will give a message on behalf of the Royal Impesa family. Ja.
Holy Manuel Selassie, Ja Rastafari. Ile, 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 ile. Abuabiriswo, Jatabiriswo, ile. Ile, ile. Abuabiriswo, Jatabiriswo. ile ile. Yeko
ile ile.
Eba
ile ile. Abwe bisro jatabi achinu ile ile.
Blessed Lord, Rastafari. We give thanks for a day like this. And I give thanks for elders who has been taking their time every year from the diaspora to come and be part of our gathering, from Ambassador Elder Frankai till today we are here. And today I realize we are on the 9th conference, that 9-year journey, 9 years of striding together as Rastafari. But we give thanks for the gathering, we give thanks for everything that is happening. But first of all, we will appreciate the gift of the Ghana Traditional Council. And then our patron, Ni Osabo Akwe, the first of Sotum, Nsufa traditional area, who has given birth to us as Impese royal family. In the past life, when we start to grow as young grasses, we're always looking for a place of hope that we can call our leadership from political, from every aspect of life. Until we've journeyed through every aspect of life, there was one thing missing in our life, and it was granted and given us by the Ghana Traditional Council, by the help and support of Ni Osabo Akwe. Baba, yeah, King Solomon, who have realized that. And then we know in Africa, our priests are I will say they are even bigger than the chief, I should say. Because the chief is the leader. In Bobo Shat, we have Trinity: the priest, the prophet, and the king. But without the priest, the king cannot be crowned, and certain work cannot be done. So we'll give a special recognition to our honorable priest, Numogwa, highly priest Numogwa, who have crowned all of us. So anytime you see us in person, he is the one who crowned us. It's honorable. Numogwa, praises and give thanks. And Mpesa Royal Congo, who is our paramount of the Rastafari chieftaincy or the Mpesa Royal family, Ni Aye Mpesa Congo Daku, the first of the whole Gamashi and the whole Ghana. And it was Ni Osabo who decided that no, it must be a time for Rastafari to be recognized traditionally. In the past, we were not recognized. Even most of us have direct link to our clients and our families that are supposed to be inheritance of the kingdom. But they will tell you, first go and trim your hair to be like a Christian boy that your father and mother want you to be like before you can be recognized. So to me, anytime I feel my happiest mission be accomplished in the Rastafari, when I was crowned also as a youth development chief of the Mpesa Royal family. And Mpesa Royal family is a standard order of a ladder of all the chieftaincy that you can recognize, from Akwashon, who is the sergeant at arms, the Niatofo, the accountant, everything. So it's a whole complete political structure we have as Mpesa Royal Traditional Council that take care of not only Rastafari affairs and issues, but diaspora community as whole. So we give thanks for this honorable recognition that even our brothers and sisters who are not with us in Ghana can also have a voice, who can be recognized in other parts of Africa. So we represent at the, let's say, the 6th or the 7th region of the Traditional Council within the Ghana Traditional Council. And we have been recognized by the traditional aspect of where we are today is the capital of Ghana, and the traditional order of the capital of Ghana is Ghana Traditional Council. So we give thanks, and we are still expecting other traditional rulers to also be able to replicate that, so that in the whole of Ghana in Africa will also be recognized by our own identity, but not by their colonial Christianized mind, which everybody want to be look like a white boy or to be trimming your hair to look like how we are submitted in terms of slavery. So Mpesa Royal family was formed in a base of trying to address the issues that have been facing the Rastafari community in every aspect of our life, in terms of education, in terms of job opportunities, in terms of anything that we are being denied as a human, because we are the less privileged in society. I work with a lot of international organizations, but anytime when they talk of the less privileged, I feel so proud because I belong to that race of people. And we've been denied So as a Rastafari organization where we are now, we are fostering the development, strengthening of the most deprived communities in the world. So we take care of all our brothers and sisters who are coming to Ghana. Actually, it's been sad when you listen to story that most of our people have been facing to the extortion scamming of many people. But as long as you are able to come to the umbrella of Mpese Royal family, it's going to be the help of the whole Traditional Council of Ghana that is going to help you to achieve what you want to achieve as a repart person into all reintegrated brothers and sisters into Africa. We know a lot has been gone within us as African people, both in and out. We lost from our root, we lost from ourselves, but we give thanks that today, Mpese Royal family have achieved a lot of support for the youth, and a lot of brothers and sisters who have come through the Mpese Royal family umbrella has been dealt with, and they have peace of mind, even if they are not with us. And we have congregations both in Ghana and outside the country that has been fostering and projecting and the focus of black development, black identity, black supervision over all other race of people, so that we can also represent ourselves as people in face of the earth. Thank you very much, Mpese Royal family, and we give thanks for the Rastafari Council for being this, making it possible. Bless you all till another time. Rastafari, love and unity. My Lord. Jata, 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 Seodi Agua, Kobobra, Chata Beru, Seodi Agua, Kobobra, Chata Beru, Sotum, Chata Beru, Chata Beru,
RIC,
Chata Beru, Mpese, Chata Beru. Blessed Lord, my Lord and Majesty.
We give thanks to the Royal Mpese family for that powerful statement. Like you heard, we are mostly supported by the Haile Selassie Foundation for Law and Society. Empress Marina is also the international legal advisor of the Rastafari Council of Ghana. And she's leading the new faculty of overstanding, a new reasoning which allows us as Rastafari to review our goal or objectives since the inception of the movement and to ask ourselves whether we are treading on the right path. As part of the 9th National Rastafari Conference, Empress Marina has sent her statement, and I will engage you and invite your audience for us to listen to the statement. It's a brief statement. So please, with your, I beg for your attention, let's listen to the audio statement from Empress Marina of the Haile Selassie I Foundation for Law and Society, coming for the new faculty of overstanding. Ja. Hello. Please give me some patience. Let me. Please, I'm working it out. Whilst we try to work out, I'll invite. Priest Marfo from the NDC Rasta Caucus, who is also a rep from the Asante Regional branch of RCG, to give a solidarity message on behalf of the NDC Rasta Caucus. Please let's welcome him with applause. Ja.
Holy Emmanuel Ike Selassie, Ja. Emmanuel the Seven, Madonia, God, Ja. Glory be unto the Father, to the Son, to the Holy One of creation. As Jah was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, Jah word without thanking. Selassie, Jah. Yeah, I take this opportunity to welcome the Royal Mpese family, and also to thank the high table, and I'll remain on the existing protocols. We are from the NDC Rastafari Caucus, you know. And we thank the Rastafari Council. As we gathered at Manchester on the Seas, I hope on the Seas conference, the theme was Rastafari and the political consciousness. And since that day, the perception of I and I with regard to politics changed from that day. And since that day, some of us come together and form NDC Rastafari Caucus. Those who believe in the ideology and the philosophy of the NDC. And as I'm speaking, now the NDC, the National Democratic Congress, has accepted X as one of their internal organs and is working for the accreditation. So, as today, the team implies political consciousness, the key for national development. We will take the opportunity and also to entreat the council to work towards it, so that coming this election, we represent the National Democratic. We also entreat the council to encourage our other colleagues who also believe in the other ideology also to come out and agitate from the political parties to include in their manifestos. Because last 2 days, the Muslims organization in Ghana, led by their leader, Sheikh Shaributu, presented the National Democratic Congress with their manifesto, what the Muslim people want from the party to include in their manifesto. So we too are looking forward from the council, from today, they should come out what we the Rasta people in Ghana want from both the MPP and the NDC. Because without this, we can't go forward. There are time ago, we considered them as politicians, Babylon and all this. But when you go back to history, all our leaders, for instance, Emperor Haile Selassie was a king, but he was dealing with the political then. He was dealing with the political of the black then. Marcus Garvey, King Emmanuel Demo, now they are agitating for I and I freedom and rights through political. So in our this dispensation, we can't do without it. So it's a time we should come together. Because Marcus Garvey told us, no government recognized unorganized people. Through the help of the council, today we see the Minister for Chieftaincy and Cultural Affairs in our midst. It's a prize, It's a prize for I and I, because he come and grace the occasion. It's a way then forward. So we want more, and it's up to us. Political consciousness is not a day, it's not a sin. It's a way forward. So we, the NDC Rasta Caucus, is entreating the council we, the NDC Rasta Caucus, is entreating the council because we see the council as the mother head of all Rastafari in Ghana. So we want them to regulate any group of Rasta people who believe in any ideology and the philosophy of the political system in Ghana. So they will be our advisors and everything, so that what the political parties are doing, which is not good, no, we are not into it. We stand for the battle of the ideas. We can change it and make it then better. So right from now, no, what we want from the council is to come out with a manifesto which we would, demand from all the political parties. What is their stand with regard to Rastafari? Thank you.
Yes, my lords, we hereby take a statement from Empress Marina. Yes, we are taking a presentation from Royal M-Pesa family, and then we'll have a group photo. Thank you.
Rastafari. We give thanks. The M-Pesa royal family, today has been another day, and a lot of chiefs are organizing other expectations from them, and they are expecting them elsewhere. So without further delay, the chieftaincy would like to ask a permission to leave the occasion and still be able to come back in the evening when the time appear. But they said they cannot leave empty-handed as chief. So we have a little water in our hand that we are donating to the council. So in our hand, we have 500 Ghana cedi to give to the council. All right, okay. Okay. I was almost about to do so. Okay, I hear you.
sound.